important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
This is Soleil salt. Does anybody know what Soleil is? Anybody? Soleil salt is a solution that's 26% salt because salt will not make itself any more than 26%. It's just a sort of a law. So you take stone ground salt, which we have, because most of the salt that you'll buy from the store, and Himalayan salt is a crystal salt. It's not sea salt. Sea salt doesn't have a crystalline form to it. It's not compressured. It's not pressurized. Rock salt, sodium chloride salt, those are all salts. But they're not crystal salts. They don't have a form to them. Okay? So what we use is we use the form that has a maximum amount of minerals. And what we do is we make it so it has a maximum amount of concentration. We take like a glass bottle like this. We fill the salt up to about halfway. And what we do is we fill the water 3/4, clean water, shake it up or mix it, make sure it's only in glass, and only use a, not a plastic, but a type of a natural wooden spoon, or this is a bullhorn spoon here. And in one day, what happens is the salt turns to water, and the water turns to salt. And this is very important. You now, what we call, have a hyper solution of salt. And if you take a DC voltmeter, Glenn knows this, what do you get out of salt when you actually measure salt? Do you get electricity? You get conductivity? Of course. Now, since our body needs minerals, watch what happens. This is a 26% solution. And I'm just going to put one drop in here. And you can see how minerals make life. Electrolytes. Conductivity is the secondary stage of life, because without it, you're not a light being. And a light being, of course, is pushing out a lot of the things that live in the body that live not in light. And you can see how very strong that is.
Don't stick your finger in there.
Now, if I stick my finger in there now, it will give me a good jolt. So you can see just a couple of drops of, so a lot of people that work out and they sweat. You lose your minerals. You ever heard of people drinking Gatorade and trying to get their electrolytes back? Well, to some degree, a lot of that is actually true. What we found out is your body will not regenerate unless it has the correct form of power. Well, it's just a battery. So one of the reasons why I share with people to change their food supply is to eat foods that have minerals in them. And Glenn has a good rap on this here, on NPK. He's got a lot of good videos. And we know that NPK are 3 minerals out of a possibility, let's say, of 80 plus. So if you start eating, like we talked about the Pottinger study, every generation of NPK fertilizer or foods that you eat, all you're doing is getting demineralized DNA. Eating cooked foods does the same thing. Once you cook the foods, a lot of them, they get perverted. So a lot of times if we want to get healthy, I eat cooked foods here and there. No big deal. It makes me have good memories. Remember, there's not just a physical body. I have a mental body, I have an emotional body, I have an ethereal body. Okay? There's many bodies to please. And so a lot of the things that that I had when I was a child were cooked food. And they remind me of a lot of good things, good times. Even when I smell barbecue, I don't eat meat anymore, but it sure smells good. So what we really want to do is sort of rewrite what we think we know and become an experiment of your own self. Everybody's an experiment here. I can't tell you what to do, and if I do, I'm practicing medicine without a license. Get in trouble. All you can do is see some reasonable and logical movements, and if those are true, then you'll say, I can do that. And if you do, then that's what I want to find out, is what happens to you when you terrain modify yourself. I know what's going to happen to you. You're going to get healthy, wealthy, happy, and wise, and now we can start playing the game of consciousness. Because that's my phone. Until, that's the one guy who was probably supposed to come with me. Let me shut it off. There we go. So once you become happy, wealthy remember is information. Wise means you've seen it's logical and reasonable. The next ring, because we're all trying to grow here, is to be able to become more human. And you can't even really talk about this until you get healthy. So that's why I say a lot of the people I like to really talk to are in the group of about 18 to 30 years old, because they haven't been perverted as much as the ones over that. That's all. And if you have, like myself, I'm 50, you have to do, it's a full-time job to reorganize your DNA. My DNA's been reorganized in a way that makes me so I can see that what I'm doing is wrong. And sometimes when you get to a certain age, all you can do is really see what you've done before. And remember, we're all jumping around from the Beverly Hills diet back to here, back to there. And what we're trying to do is find out the truth. And the truth is real simple. You just go back to nature. Non-genetically modified foods hydrate your body with about 12 glasses of mineralized, pure, clean water with minerals. Try to structure the water, which we can go over. And how I structure the water is I just put a couple of crystals in the water, and crystals actually change and manipulate the water immediately, because that's what they do. I also use different types of stones. Glenn showed me this. I call them ether stones. He calls them lodestones. I like the name ether stones because they're basically what they do is they're taking their energy from the ethers, and whatever the ether energy is, they become, versus magnets. I don't use magnets anymore. Magnets are really sort of a perversion. I used to use them a long time ago. Glenn showed me this too. He's a pretty smart dude, that little guy in the back. I'll show you right here. I know we just have a few minutes left here and we're going to take a break. Now in this water here also, as you notice, the minerals don't die. All I have to do is put in about 2 spoons of sugar in there, and sugar's full of acid. Put in some vinegar, some acetic acid. That light bulb dies. Goes right down to nothing. What I do is I carry a source of energy around me all the time, wherever I have it. Here. There we go. And you can see how this little stone here is magnetic. Our bodies are batteries. You want to help it along? Sure, you eat foods that have battery energy. Why don't you just cheat and carry a little battery source around with you? As long as you're conductive and your cells have the conductivity to take and absorb, then great. But if we just had the regular water like we had in there, this isn't going to do much because you can't conduct to it. It's like trying to charge a battery that you know that you've had it on the charger for 2 days and it just won't hold the charge because it's lost its power. You know, batteries in your car, sulfuric acid, once they lose some of their charge, then they lose their power. And we're an alkaline battery, and once we become acid, we lose our charge. And what happens is that we're now open to a set of creatures that take up life within inside us. And let me tell you, they're not easy to get rid of them. I have 5 minutes, he's saying. Did everybody get some chocolate? Yeah, you might want to go ahead and do another round if you like. What happens is that in the morning, what I like to do is tell people about 3 times a week for about a month, try this experiment. I'll show you the recipe. It'll be on the internet. It's very simple. And it's not just, like I said, cacao. It's got a lot of cold processed herbs, mucuna, bacopa, blue-green algae, a lot of things that actually work together as a brain food. Because remember, certain foods you put in your body feed the body. Other things you can put in your body will feed the glands. Tribulus feeds the glands. It's got saponins in it. Okay? We have other things that feed the nerves. What are your nerves? The nerves are what's called your relationship to reality. Why do they control the nervous system on this planet? That's really their control. It's not controlling people. It's controlling the nervous system. The nervous system is who you are. Your eyes are an extension of the nervous system. Your smell is an extension of the nervous system, your senses. Your hearing is an extension of the nervous system. So if you could turn the power down of the nervous system, what happens? All your senses shrink, don't they? So if we can only sense even less than, of course, what our faculties really can provide for us, don't you think that's a real easy way to control people, is control the senses? Very simple. So what I really like to do is try to grow the nervous system. And there are certain things in our food supply, like I said, who here has not been penetrated by the dentist? Everybody in this room was penetrated. We're not talking sexually. My good friend back here, Leon Ozark, just got back. There's his teeth. He just got back from going to Mexico. Just got back to actually changing his mercury amalgams. I've been trying to get him to do this for how long?
Since we've known each other for 20 years.
Okay. But you know, one of the things he's lucky, I replaced my mercury fillings with porcelain. And porcelain, remember, is aluminum oxide. And that's better, but it's still not good, because aluminum oxide is still toxic, especially the glue they use. Now,